Hello, TIA Marketplace, my good Tosha tribe. So today's video, we are talking about financing. In specific, I've been asked a few times people have asked me like a few times, can you just literally tell me how did you actually get here? Like, what did you do to start up this business on that financial side? Because let's be honest, the hardest part is the cash, right? It literally is the cash, right? Like, so on this video, I'm just gonna kind of tell you what I did, all right? This is what I did. This is what worked for me and is working for me. Is there room for improvement? For sure, for sure. We are now fully moving into our third year of business, and we are definitely looking for capital. We are definitely looking for investors, looking for people who really share our vision and want to be a part of our vision. So this is an ongoing process. However, I do want to kind of give you guys an idea of what I did to prepare while I was in the States financially so that I could move to Kenya and still maintain, you know, a good quality of life and start a business, right? And to start a business up from the ground. So when like I said in previous videos, and if this is your first video, karibu, welcome, hi. In my past life, I was an attorney, and I was working as an attorney for like a long time, like probably almost like 12 years. I am barred in the state of Florida, and I am barred in the state of New York. I've always been a public defender. So that means I have always been a broke government lawyer. And I'll be honest with you, being broke is actually a benefit. You know why? Because it makes you really work within what you have, right? So I definitely have a lot of friends who are attorneys, right? And the ones who are working for firms, working as in-house counsel, I mean, these guys are making money, okay? Like, make it rain on them. Hopefully one of my girlfriends, she'll do a kind of a talk with us, and she'll let you know, but woo, she making money, y'all. Like, yikes, you know what I mean? Anyways, not the point. But the point of what I am trying to say is that being a government lawyer for as long as I was, it makes you really learn how to like live within your means, right? So for instance, I went to law school on a full scholarship, plus every semester I would receive a very large stipend. That really helped to set me up later in life to allow for me to have the choices that I wanted to make, right? For me, I think the biggest thing is freedom. Now, whatever your definition of freedom is your definition, but for me, I like to have choices and not have choices made for me, and to have the freedom to make the choices that I want to make. And a lot of that, especially as an adult, is going to be based on how'd you set yourself up, right? Like, what'd you do? So anyways, going back, what I did. So I continued working as a lawyer. When I'm in New York now, I was renting an apartment in Brooklyn, and I was working full time, obviously. I used to sell like little small things here and there on the side. I'm a very creative person, so I used to create different types of travel bags, and I used to sell them to high-end boutiques that they would then turn around and sell them within their things. So that was a really good, easy way to make some side money. And then at work, we always had this option of being able to work extra hours, right? So I don't know if any of you guys remember, this is a really old show. It was called Night Court. And it was about, the lawyers who used to work at night, and you would get all the criminals who were getting pulled up, at like 2 a.m. So we used to do night court. It was a requirement when we worked at the Legal Aid Society. So you would be working from about 5 p.m. to 1 to 2 a.m., depending on like how the day was. And anytime we worked any night shifts, we were allowed to either cash it in for extra money or get an extra vacation day. So when I knew that I was going to be taking my sabbatical, I knew one of the easiest ways to make some extra cash was just do a lot of night shifts. So your night shifts were capped with how many you were allowed to do. But like I said, I'm a goal-oriented person and I needed to make some cash, right? So I just did night shifts, okay? I remember in one quarter, I think I did like 45 night shifts. I know like HR, when they found out, somebody called me and they were like, Rita, this is too many. But like I said, it's like, once I'm out of here, deuces, which meant that I need all the night shifts possible. So I was just literally switching and trading. It's like, I'll take your shift. It was definitely easier during the holidays, just because a lot of the parents were off, a lot of Jewish holidays, a lot of Christian holidays or Catholic holidays. There was a lot around there. And for me, I was fine with it. Like, let's just run up this tab because like I said, I needed to stack some cash, right? Fine. So I used to do a lot of night shifts when I was working as preparation beforehand to make some money. And I was doing a lot of like side sales, right? Like little side hustles are a really easy way to be able to make just a little bit of just walking around money, right? I'm not saying that this was enough to like, pay my rent and do all of that. But I mean, it was enough like walking around money, right? You got a little money to go eat. You got a little money for transport and like all of that, right? So that was what I was doing beforehand. When I initially moved during my sabbatical, I sublet my apartment and I sublet the apartment at a higher rate just so that I could make some extra money off of that. So in New York, because I had a rent stabilized building, you were only allowed to like rent so much above it. So I rented above it and then a little extra, whatever. And I used that extra rent. I used that extra money, so I would pay my rent every month, and then that little extra money, again, I would have some extra walking around money while I was out here. So when I first originally moved to Africa, I did have the benefit of having like some family who lived in Nairobi, so I stayed in my family's houses. I had one cousin who was, she had like a really big apartment, and she had a couple of empty rooms. So then what I did is the little extra money that I was making off of my sublet, I used that money to pay to my cousin for like the room, right? So, cause like obviously her expenses were gonna go up. So I was like, well, here, just take a little bit of money. Cause I also don't like for somebody to think that I'm just like staying on them for free and like not really contributing and stuff like that. So by doing that, I was able to at least now have a place to stay with a roof over my head while I was figuring out what I was doing, right? Also, before I left, they would offer you all of the night shifts that I was doing and all of that. They offered that to me in a big lump sum. And so I just paid off with that lump sum of money that I got. I paid off any bills that I knew were going to be monthly reoccurring bills. And I just paid them all off for the year, right? So like my rent, I paid off for the year. I had like some, like you have some of like these investments and some health, what am I thinking? Life insurance stuff, right? Like those annual premiums that you have to pay. So I just paid off all of those for a full year so that at least I knew now any of the little money that I was I knew it wasn't going to have to go to paying anything to sustain in the US and that I could use everything to be here. This side of the world is significantly cheaper than being in New York. So that is also a really big thing, right? I had an ex-boyfriend of mine who was like really mad at me when I moved here. And I was like, well, you should just move to Europe. And it's like, I ain't got Europe money, fam. I got Africa money, but I ain't got no Europe money, right? And so, like the extra little like $300 I was making on my rent, I mean, you could live over here with a roof over your head. And even that, I wasn't giving the full amount to my cousin because I needed some walking around money. So anyway, so that was like some of the stuff that I did. Then when I finally really started getting the idea of what I wanted to do for my business, right? Where I was like, all right, we want to be in the health and wellness sector. We want to start bringing in items that are of quality and of value. I was like, you're going to have to get some capital. I have not gone to business school. The last few years of my life has been like business school as I'm like learning. As we all know, experience is always the best teacher, and we have definitely learned a lot. And one of the books that I have been reading was books by Richard Branson. And one of the things that Richard Branson really talks about is that if you have the means and the ability to self-finance your business from the beginning, then you should really try to do it for as long as you can until like at least break even point. So that way you're not having to give away equity in your company or giving away shares in your company. Now, much easier said than done, y'all. Much easier said than done. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you what I did. So now, as I told you guys, I used to work for the Miami-Dade Public Defender's Office. And when I left, I had a pension with the Miami-Dade Public Defender's Office. They continue to add to your money until you retire, right? So that's, again, a nice little benefit of being a public servant and being a public defender. So that money they still send and they still add to it. So what I did is I actually took money out of my retirement fund, okay? You are gonna take a hit in terms of taxes and all of that, blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm just telling y'all what I did. So I actually took money out of my retirement fund. I paid those tax, whatever, but I needed to have some capital that I could work here. In my opinion, I was like, well, Rita, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in what you're really doing out here, if you really believe what you're saying, then you need to invest in yourself, right? So I didn't really think of it as being like, oh, I took out money from my retirement. What am I going to do? For me, I was like, girl, you invested in yourself for everything that you're trying to do out here. And so just run yourself your cash because we're about to get it back tenfold anyways. And remember, I said it here first. We going to get this back tenfold anyways. So anyways, I took out money from over there and I bought it over here. And then my accountant here, she reinvested that money into a high percentage, like yielding investment. And out here, they do have quite a few different options that are available to you. If it's something that you guys are interested in, write it in the comments and I'll let you guys know. But generally, you could really invest in quite a few different accounts out here where you're getting some of these things are yielding like 9%, 15%. And you can put in as little as $50, right? And even though it sounds like, wow, that's so little, $50 in the States and $50 out here, it's two different things, right? A lot of people here just don't have $50 to be able to put into these things, right? So at least in that respect for myself, and especially for those who are Westerners who are coming over here, because everything is much cheaper to do out here, you have a lot more options that are available to you, which allow for you to just have more choices and do as you feel free, right? So anyways, I put in a lot of money into that. And then what's nice with that is that because the interest accrues on there, sometimes I'm able to withdraw just the interest to be able to make my local payments, right? We have self-financed for the last 3 years, as Richard Branson has said. But, you know, the well runneth dry. It's starting to get low, y'all. It's really starting to get low. So even while I've been out here, I use my apartment for a lot of other things. My apartment here, I don't live with my cousin no more. I moved out, right? Because that's the other thing. We all grown and ain't nobody living with no roommates. So I moved out. Once I really figured out what I wanted to do here and situated myself, I moved out. I ended up getting an apartment that was a little bit more space than what I really needed. However, for myself, I use my place as warehousing. I use my place as distribution. We do most of our office meetings here. We create a lot of stuff here. So although it's a little bit bigger than what I wanted, this apartment serves many other purposes, which help to also lower and reduce your overall your overall overhead and your expenses. I also do other little side, like little hustles out here as well, because just because you're doing the main business don't mean you ain't got some side walking around money. So one of the things that I do out here is sometimes I'll do like little cooking classes for like kids, for house girls, people who just want to learn how to cook different stuff. I ain't trying to toot my own horn, but here I go, toot, toot. Your girl knows how to cook. So we do that. And then I do arts and crafts classes for some of the kids, especially like in my building during the holidays. A lot of these kids aren't really going anywhere. And, you know, a lot of adults really aren't that creative, right? Like they don't really tap into their childlike, like good fun time. And it's like it's like too bad. But anyways, that's for another time. Your girl over here is mad creative and I love all things art. I love all things that like let you express yourself in a different way. And it's a really nice way to get your mind off of like the stresses of daily life and building a business here, right? So even though I get paid to be able to do it on the side, it is really fun for me as well. It doesn't feel like work, and that's always the best thing, right? Anything that doesn't feel like work, but you get paid to do it, it's even better, right? So that's one of the other things I did. I've asked my mama for money, okay? Hey, mom. But she's really the only one. But obviously you can ask like your friends for money, whatever it is. They have certain things out here. Also, like I said, with the investment accounts, they have these things called SACCOs where you kind of invest into it. And then same, it's like an investment situation, but it's just on a smaller scale. But same, you can make a little bit of money coming in and out. My financier here, not my financier, what am I saying? But my accountant here, or AKA my boss, because she's the one who runs the numbers and knows what's up. She's really good with making me stay very much so in budget and really capping what I'm spending on stuff. I'll be honest with y'all, now that I have really gotten into being a lot more stricter with my budget on this side of the world, this is a very cash heavy world. This is not a credit heavy. For Americans and Westerners who are moving over here, who are used to living life on credit, out here that is not the same thing. You will have to adjust to that and get used to it. It's a learning curve. It did take me a little bit of time to get used to it, but now that I am, woo-wee, I can't believe I was spending all that money out there. I can't believe I used to spend all that. It's nuts, man. And budget life sucks, okay? Like there ain't no else around it. However, as y'all know, if you really have aspirations to really create and do something big, then you're just gonna have to sacrifice, and that means that you're not going out, you're not going to the bar, you're not going out to eat, unless you've got a nice man who wants to take you out. I am available. You can take me out. Okay, anyways, again, digress. So anyways, that's kind of some of the stuff I did. And lastly, if you have like passive income, such as like stocks, bonds, rental income, stuff like that, that always really helps. And so just letting y'all know, that's how we did it here. I took out money from my retirement. I sublet my apartment at a higher rate. I'm really good with budgeting. I reinvested the money over here in higher yielding investment accounts. I use that interest. I have little side hustles on the side that I do. And so far we've been doing well. But like I said, we are now moving into our third year of business. We are definitely looking for more capital for our marketing and our sales expenses, which we will get. If you guys want to donate and invest, your girl's right here. And anyways, this is just kind of a little video, just to let you guys know how we did it, what we did out here, how we have been self-financing Toshana Investment Africa. And I'm just here to let you guys know what we did. Okay, so like, subscribe, TIA Marketplace. If there's anything y'all want to talk about or you're asking me, hit me up in the comments. Okay, thanks. Bye.